How can we make life simple? I want to be sharing with you in this video to stop working hard. Stop working hard and just do this instead. Because you got to realize that working hard, making your life incredibly difficult, is not always the key to create success in your life. It just really isn't. A lot of people think that you need to work hard and everything has to be so difficult. Now, is that necessarily the case? Okay, that's the serious question. Do we have to work hard? Do we have to force our way into success? Or is there an easier way? Is there an easier way? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to stop working hard and what to do instead. So stop working hard and do this instead, which is also, by the way, going to help you manifest faster. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one to let go of your ego, let go of the anxiety, let go of the fear, let go of the worries, so you can step up into your life purpose and do what it is that you really want to do, click the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. So what you got to realize is that life is not always about working hard. Like, I need to work so hard to get this success. We live in a society where we have to take action. Action, action, action. Okay, is that really the case? Do we really have to take so much action? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with action, okay? Taking action is a very useful thing, right? Why not take action? Action can be beautiful, but here's the problem, is that most people are in an imbalanced energy state. Okay, they're in an imbalanced energy state. Now, what does that mean? That means that we're taking so much action. We're taking so much action in the world. We're so masculine. And by the way, this applies to you, whether you're a male or a female. We're so masculine. We're taking so much action that there's an imbalance. There's a missing link. Now, what is that missing link? The first step to this whole process in terms of why you need to stop working hard and what to do instead is understand that working hard as you can doesn't always work, right? Let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to force yourself to go to the gym, right? Or force yourself to eat a clean diet, right? Like just pure willpower, pure force, or force your way into a business. Now, just don't get me wrong here. There's nothing wrong with, taking massive action, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You can push, like in order to create something in your life, you have to push your life energies in a certain way. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with pushing your life energies, but here's the thing that most people miss. They forget to pull back. Okay, they forget to pull back their life energies, and they completely forget the other side of the coin, the other side of the polarity, which is to pull back, right? You got to push, but there's also the pulling back. And that is what most people miss. So understand that working hard just isn't necessarily the answer to everything. Okay, you can work hard, you can push, but I'm sure you've experienced this many times in your life where you try to work hard and that's all you do, and let me know how that usually works out. Usually not the best, okay? Usually not the best, because when you just focus on working hard and working as hard as you can, there's a limitation to that. It's not always the best. There's always limitations because you haven't accounted for the other side of the coin, which is, of course, the falling back, the feminine, the allowing, the trust, the intuition. And here's the problem, is that a lot of people can just be too much in surrender, right? You can be lost in either end of the spectrum. It's not like this one's better and then that one's worse. It's quite literally, you need a perfect balance and a unification of both, okay? And that can really help you to switch your whole life around and make life easier. You notice this all the time in the business community. Taking too much action, right? Hustle, hustle, hustle. People take too much action. It's all about the action. It's all about, you got to do this right now, take the massive action. I'm sure you've experienced that this doesn't always work, so I just want to share with you the first step to this whole process before I share with you what to do instead. Taking massive action doesn't always work. So the second step to this video right now is actually, life can be easy when you learn to let go and trust. Right? Life really can be easy. Now, of course, you're thinking, okay, that makes sense, but what are the practical steps to make that happen? Right? How can I let go and trust? Well, before I share with you how to do that, you got to realize letting go and trusting is something that society usually looks down upon. Right? We look down upon letting go and trusting and following your heart and letting go of the logical mind a little bit. Right? We let go of that. We don't fully trust ourselves. We feel like everything has to be so difficult. Now, is that necessarily the case? Because you got to realize that there's an easier way. Now, don't get me wrong. I record a daily video, right? I take lots of calls with clients. I do a lot of things that, from the outside may seem like I'm putting in a lot of work, but when you get your energy right, there's a way to actually make it easy. To make it easy where taking action can be easy. Right? Have you ever considered that taking action can be easy? Now, here's the truth. When you learn to bring in that feminine energy and bring in that element of trust, that element of surrender, you can still take actions, but then those actions become easy. Now, how do you do this? It really is about having a very deep connection to the present moment. That's what it's really about. And that's what most people are missing, is that connection to the present moment, where you're still taking actions, but at the same time, you're in what some people may call a flow state, where the masculine and the feminine have a perfect balance. They are unified. Now, what you got to realize is that the more that you balance these things that come naturally as a result of connecting deeply to the present moment, what happens is life becomes easy. Okay, I used to do things that I hated in school. I used to study software development. I used to do something that I absolutely hated. Like, I did not enjoy what I did. And then what I realized is that as I became more present to the moment, as I went through what some people may call a spiritual awakening, what happened was I started to actually make my life so much more simple, because I started following where the present moment would take me. Because we think we have to take all this action. Life has to be difficult. I have to take all this massive action. I need to do this. You need to go to school to do something that you hate, and that's the only way to be successful. You have to live a life for your parents, and that's the only way to be successful. You have to do all these things, and that's the only way to be successful. You have to, and like, is that really true? Like, do you have to go to school to do something that you hate to be successful? Do you have to work hard to live a good life? Is that true? Or can you be so aligned with the present moment that actually work doesn't even feel like work? You're so aligned with your soul's purpose, so to speak. You're so aligned with the present moment and the joy that this present moment can bring, that automatically it stops becoming hard work and it just becomes an effortless flow. Is that possible? Now, once again, don't get me wrong. You can actually take massive action, but that action can be aligned with the present moment, where you actually enjoy the actions that you are taking. And that's what most people miss. They miss that deep connection to the moment. So you got to realize that when you learn to bring in the feminine, okay, whether you're a male or a female, you learn to trust a little bit more. You learn to bring in that state of allowing and flow and not controlling everything with the burden of your ego. Things can become a lot easier. Your life becomes a lot more simple. Right? My life is incredibly simple. I wake up in the morning, okay? I do my meditations, I record videos, I edit videos, I take calls with clients, and I love every single minute of it, okay? I no longer have to wait for Saturday to enjoy my days like I used to when I hated doing something in school. Now it's almost like I don't really know what day it is. I'm just doing what I love to do in each moment. And I'm not saying that to show off, so to speak. I just want you to know the power that you have to manifest your reality into existence by just being aligned with something higher than you, so to speak. And the key is to just be aligned with that present moment and just follow where that takes you. Now, of course, there's obviously steps to make that happen, but a lot of people don't even consider that there are steps and that they can actually follow this mission and follow where that present moment takes them, where work doesn't even have to feel like work. Now, believe me, every single person has a specific mission. And you can apply this, by the way, even if you're still doing something that you hate. Even if you're still doing something that you don't particularly enjoy. Maybe, you have to, get some work done, so to speak. Like you're washing the dishes, or you're doing this, you're dealing with a situation that you don't necessarily want to be dealing with. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that's life, right? Things happen that our egos don't particularly want, things to go in that way, but then they do. What you got to realize is that when you bring acceptance into it and you bring that inner aliveness, as Eckhart Tolle usually speaks, then what happens is now the actions become easy. Now, I can share with you all sorts of different ways to, make you realize that, action doesn't have to be difficult, but it all comes down to the same thing, which is connection to the moment. Right? Raising your level of consciousness and your awareness. That's all it is. There's so many different ways I can communicate this truth to you, but the ultimate key is that you are connected deeply. Like, I could talk about femininity, surrender, letting go, flow, making action. Like, there's so many different ways to explain it, but it all comes down to the same foundation, which is raising your level of consciousness, and then also bringing presence into what you do. Now, of course, I want to make this video a little bit more complicated, and I can communicate it in all sorts of different ways, and I can there's so many different ways that I can re-communicate this information to you, but ultimately, it's a connection to the moment. It's a connection to who you really are that will bring you closer to that effortless action. Are you doing something for yourself, or are you doing something for your family? Are you living a life that is based on the conditioning of what society wants for you? Or are you taking action based on what you truly want to be doing in your life? Now, that is going to be the difference between, are the actions easy or are the actions hard? A lot of the actions that I used to take being in school, doing something that I hated, were hard simply because I was completely out of alignment with what I was supposed to be doing. If you're out of alignment with your mission and what you're supposed to be doing, obviously it's going to feel like a huge weight on your shoulders and a strong amount of resistance while you're taking that action. Can it really be any other way? You're completely out of alignment. Now, of course, I say that from love, not from judgment. But understand that there is a path for you where you are more aligned and actions are easy. See, when I record a video, it's pretty easy. Of course, sometimes it becomes hard to some degree, but then when that happens, I know that I have to pull back a little bit and make it a little bit easier, let go a little bit more, bring a little bit more femininity into my life. Sometimes I record so many videos and take so many calls with clients, I'm just immobilized, and then I realize, why am I working so hard? And then all I can do is just lie down in my bed and just be. Like, no action. Like, I can't even meditate sometimes because sometimes I do work too hard. And then once again, I realize it's not the key. The key is not to work hard. Now, you can, I do sometimes, but it always comes back to knowing how to, modulate your life energies in the right way, and then also learn how to fall back, okay? So the third step to this whole process is don't work hard. Don't work smart either, because some people say don't work hard, work smart. Now, yes, that's true. You can not work hard and work smart, but at the same time, what I personally recommend you do instead is you work consciously. You work consciously. Don't work hard and don't work smart either. Work consciously, because when you work consciously, you're very conscious of what your being needs in that moment. Should you be taking massive action, or should you be meditating, taking a step back and giving yourself that rest that you need? When you're conscious and you're present to the moment, you automatically know what your being needs in that moment, and maybe it is time to take massive action and be incredibly masculine, or maybe it's time to be more feminine. Once again, this applies to you whether you are male or female, okay? It doesn't matter. Now, what you got to realize that when you work consciously, when you are conscious of what you're doing, when you're conscious of the actions that you're taking versus forcing it, what happens is that you naturally start to be in alignment with your purpose. What I always share with all my clients is that awareness is curative. Okay, awareness cures everything. When you are in alignment with awareness and you are in alignment with presence and consciousness and being totally present to the moment, what happens is that life becomes simple. When you align with that inner stillness that you really are, life becomes very simple. It just becomes that simple. And once again, of course, difficulties arise. I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that difficulties may arise. I'm not denying that certain things may come up that you don't want those things to come up. There's certain things that may come up that you don't particularly want to come up in your life, but then they do. Maybe there's certain actions that you have to take that you don't particularly want to take, but you still have to take those actions to, meet certain needs in your life. That's all okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when there's resistance in the midst of that action, right? There's always a quote that I always share, pain and suffering is not the same thing, okay? You can feel pain, you can feel uncomfort, but the only thing creating resistance is the mind and the thinking and the resistance to the moment, okay? That's the serious issue, is the resistance. When your mind is resisting the moment, that's what makes action hard. So you can be in a state of non-resistance and still be taking actions, and then that's what creates that effortlessness. It's an effortless effort. That's what they call it in some cultures. It's an effortless effort, right? There's an effortlessness, but you're also putting in effort at the same time. How can that be possible? How can you be taking actions but then also make it effortless at the same time? You see, most people in society are conditioned so strongly to believe that we have to work hard that they don't realize there is an effortlessness to each moment. There's a beauty and there's an aliveness to each moment that comes only when you're deeply connected to who you are, and then you can bring that into what you do. So you're merging the being and the doing. It's classic Eckhart Tolle teachings. But we gotta realize that actions are not always the key. We gotta realize that alignment is more important. Like what you're doing is not that important, but what's more important is how you are doing it, right? What I say doesn't matter. How I'm saying it and the energy behind my words matter a lot more. What you do in your life doesn't necessarily matter. How you are doing it and how aligned you are with what you're doing is more important. Okay, it's more important. When you're aligned with who you are, things start to manifest easier. Okay, manifestation becomes simple. How do you manifest faster? You focus on alignment versus taking massive action with resistance. And that's the key. That's all it is. It's that simple. I could go into this for the next 3 hours if you want. I could record a 40-minute video, 1-hour video. I could write 1 million emails. That's it. Alignment. Alignment with what, Francis? What are you talking about? Alignment with what? Alignment with the present moment. And it's that simple. Don't make life more complicated than it needs to be. That's just your ego getting in the way. Now, believe me, sometimes we have to use the logical mind, okay? Because when I talk about too much surrender, people say, oh, that's too esoteric, that's too unrelatable, Francis, that's too unrelatable, too spiritual, too esoteric. You still gotta take action. We still got to get things done. But the difference is that when you stop making it a process of resistance, or you're resisting, but you're totally in the flow just to be in the moment for being in the moment, not to get some result, and then life becomes simple. So stop focusing on manifesting faster. Stop focusing on the outcomes. Stop focusing on getting that thing. Focus on alignment. Alignment with the present moment. I'm serious. If you have a list of priorities in your life, right? Like number 1 is relationships, number 2 is this, number 3 is this. I'm just gonna give you the truth right now. If you were literally to like, you don't have to write this out, but I always teach this to people. If you were to put your number one priority, literally write it out, I prioritize awareness and presence. If you were to prioritize that, I can tell you that you have a very high probability of allowing all those other things into your life that you want to manifest to just flow into your life effortlessly. That's what happened to me. I started to prioritize my meditations. I started to prioritize connecting deeper to the present moment. I started to prioritize, just connecting to who I am. And then what happened was all these things that I wanted started flowing into my life. You got to prioritize being present to the moment, okay? Put it as your priority, like prioritize it. Literally prioritize it. I'm not just saying like in these videos, like, hey, prioritize it. Like, I'm literally saying prioritize it, like actually prioritize it. If you actually prioritize being present to the moment, you will manifest faster, right? And you see this classic mistake, like I give people all these tips and then they still don't do it. All they do is focus on the external. And I'm telling you, you're gonna realize this one way or another, that focusing on the external is not gonna be the way that you manifest, right? I've experienced this before. I put too much energy in the external. I put too much energy on the external manifestations, on like me getting more clients or getting more subscribers or getting this and getting that. And then it just doesn't work. It doesn't work because when I neglect my internal reality, my state of being is not optimally, in the right state to be taking action in certain things. And then those things, like the process of the video is harder. When I'm in that call with the client, it's harder. There's resistance in the like it doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you literally are to prioritize your inner state of being, you will manifest faster. Believe me, you'll experience this. Some people don't believe me. They don't believe me, and then they continue focusing on affirmations and this. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with taking action and trying to make more money. I love that. I love making more money, okay? I love recording videos. I love getting more subscribers. I love all of that. I love taking massive action, and I'm worried that my ego likes certain things, but at the deepest level, I know that that's not what helps manifest faster, and it's not what fulfills you. It's just not. It's just really not. Like, believe me when I say that. You want to really take what I say to heart here, because I feel like a lot of you watching my channel keep hearing this same message over and over and over, and you're still not doing it. Like, you're still prioritizing the external world, okay? So prioritize the right thing and you will manifest faster, okay? You will manifest faster. So once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one to let go of your ego, let go of the anxieties, let go of the fears, let go of the worries, so you can step up into your highest vision and what it is that you really want to be doing on this planet at this time, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.